night at Brandon Theaters watching Wonder Woman. And I'm going to get this right off the fly. You cannot keep comparing DC to Marvel. Yes, they're both superhero movies, but they are both two entirely different things. And I'm actually really happy that DC, I think, finally found the way that they need to be in doing movies in the future from this point forward, because this movie had everything I would want. Wonder Woman got all the origins from kid to adult and her coming of age, if you will. They actually committed to something. Marvel movies have a tendency to, I'm gonna do this idea, but then they never really commit. This one committed, and I was so happy for it. I'm sitting in the auditorium, I'm like, they're not gonna do it. They're not going to do it. A couple minutes go by, like, they're still not going to do it. And then when they did, I was like, oh my God, they did. And it wasn't just like a simple, we're going to do it and get it out. It was a big deal. So I appreciated that.
If you've watched our past reviews, especially our past DC reviews, you'll know that I am a giant DC fan. I am one of that group that defends Batman vs. Superman, and I am one of that group that saw Suicide Squad multiple times in the theaters. I know, blasphemy. But when it comes to Wonder Woman, while I can't deny it is a good movie, and it's probably the most traditionally popular movie, and what I mean by that is, I think this is going to appeal to a larger audience than any of the other DC films have. I think for these modern DC movies, this is really going to please a lot of people. And the early critic reviews we're seeing kind of say that. But with that being said, there were aspects of this movie that really bothered me. I can't escape them. I really wish I would have loved this movie as much as some of my colleagues did. Being a DC fan, I thought I was going to. Maybe my standards are a little higher because I'm expecting more, because I know the source material and these characters are so iconic. But the ending, which we will not spoil, really bothered me. I thought it was extremely cliche. When you really stop and think about what happened, I can't help but compare it to the whole Martha thing in BVS. And how everybody hated that, but everybody for some reason is okay with this. It just feels that shallow to me. If you're interested in finding out more detailed information about what I feel about this, feel free to message me on YouTube.
Interesting lead up to what will be Justice League here shortly. In my opinion, this has been DC's best outing so far. In what I was able to surmise from my viewing with my colleagues and friends, the big thing that this film had that didn't feel like it was as present in some of those other films was charm. This movie was charming from the moment it started to the moment it ended. It tells a complete story as far as the very start that we're able to see of Wonder Woman's journey, all the way up to where we are today, essentially.
I felt the tone was still that kind of dark and gritty, but with some humor, and the humor made sense for Diana because she's not technically of this world. She's from a different aspect of it. So when she's with man, our mannerisms are kind of interesting, a little unique to her. I appreciated that. Movie had an emotional impact on me. There's a part of the movie, it's in the preview, when she's climbing up the ladder and then Chris Pine's like, Diana, and she like palms the bullet. That whole scene after that moment, fantastic. That's how you do it. Like, that's how you do a movie. Total, it's definitely one of those inspirational things where the audience is going to clap or get really cheerful.
I feel that the ending, at least the climax part of the ending, a little eye-rolling, and that really disappointed me. Now, where they concluded the movie, like the very end, where they get the point and kind of leave it off for the next movie, that I enjoyed. I like where her character is now. I like where her mindset is now, and I like what we've learned about her character going into Justice League. That's all fantastic.
I'm really excited to see what they end up doing next and how they progress the storyline. The action sequences in this movie were phenomenal. It was very well choreographed. The fight scenes, while over the top as completely possible, they were also very fun and entertaining to watch. As Kanye West would say, candy on the screens. It was a thrill ride from start to finish, and I think that it's going to do very well in the box office. A lot of people are going to go see it, and like I said, this is DC's best outing so far, in my personal opinion.
The one thing I will say that was absolutely amazing about this movie is the action scene. The scene where you see the beginning of the trailer while she's climbing the ladder and everybody's telling her to stop and she goes out into the war zone, that entire scene was amazing. Everything about it, the way it was shot, the choices of angles, the way that the other characters react, and just the chain of events that occurs during that, just fantastic. I would say that scene was just as cool as the Darth Vader in the hallway scene in Rogue One. Just top-notch filmmaking, exactly what I wanted to see. And each time we had an action scene with her, they did a really good job with it. They took her powers up to 11, that's for sure. I mean, she's, leaping multiple buildings in a single bound, all Superman style, but I believed it and I liked it. I thought that worked for her, and it worked for what they've already established with her in Batman vs. Superman. It all kind of comes together with their power set. So when it comes to the action, when it comes to the character choices, and when it comes to what they've established with their character going into Justice League, it's all thumbs up for me. I thought it was all great. When it comes to how they decided to end her origin story, I just can't help but roll my eyes and question how this is okay when BVS wasn't for a lot of people.
I really enjoyed Batman vs. Superman. While I had my gripes, most of that were due to some tonal issues. It doesn't have that transfer between, you know, serious and emotional and comedic and action heavy the way that some of its other counterparts across the comic book aisle tend to have. In my opinion, this movie has that in spades. All of the characters are well acted and you enjoy their presence on the screen. I really had a great time watching it.
Movie had me in from start to finish. The music was amazing, and I actually appreciated when they played her theme. They played it in moments when it was needed, not just to play it. How some movies will just obnoxiously play it from start to finish. You're like, all right, we get it. Movie for me was perfect. It was a 10 out of 10. It's what DC needs to do. You still aren't really doing the end credit thing, so don't worry, there's nothing at the end credits. But if you want to see some interesting animated kind of credits, the first part, that's there, which is a nice thing to look at.
So I'm going to give this movie 8 out of 10. It's a great movie. It's definitely worth the watch. I still think it has flaws. I'm going to say it, and it's probably going to get hated, but I actually felt BVS was more entertaining. The ultimate cut of Batman vs. Superman I felt was a more fun movie. I was more invested on the characters that were going on, and I had more emotional reactions during that movie. The only emotional reaction I had during this movie was the scene where she was going up into that war front. That whole thing elicited an emotional reaction, but the end of the movie didn't. And I'll be honest, I'm the guy that cries at everything. So the fact that I didn't get an emotional reaction from this, that's really sad.
In my opinion, this movie is a 10 out of 10. I will see it again before it leaves theaters, guaranteed.
Question for you this week: what is your favorite DC live action movie and or one that's going to be coming out that you're looking forward to? Go ahead and throw that down there. I like Batman vs. Superman. Go on ahead and like this video and favorite it. Hit that subscribe button. By doing that, you get more movie reviews like this, plus throwback reviews, other shenanigans we do on the daily and weekly. And remember guys, you heard it here at The Source.